We're here in Clondegale with Brendan Cummins, former Tipperary goalkeeper, who this week launched his new autobiography, Standing My Ground, and he's willing to undergo a little penalty challenge with SportsJOE.ie. For every penalty SportsJOE scores, we get to ask him a personal question, and for every one he saves, he gets himself a hurling question. It's not going to happen though.
No, Chad, before we start actually, the hurley I got isn't exactly Anthony Nash kind of material. It's more like a 2x1, so it gives you a better advantage wearing that Wexford jersey.
Getting his excuses in early, so let's see how we get on. One.
My toughest opponent would have been Paul Flynn, I would say, from Waterford. The reason is that when Paul stood even taking a 65, he'd be kind of looking in at you, seeing could he dip it under the crossbar. You know, he was that kind of a fella that goals was his only currency. All I can say is a story that happened to me in the goals. We played Limerick in 2005 in the MUNSTER Championship, and I decided I was going to be more like Davy Fitch, run out onto the pitch, get the crowd going. You know, it's about time now I started doing this. So I ran out of the tunnel anyway, turned left, ran up towards the goals, got into the goals, and then looked around, and I was actually warming up with the Limerick players. I turned the wrong way when I came out of the dressing room. So there I was, beating a hasty retreat back down, hoping that nobody would see me. Of course, I got the jeer from the Limerick supporters, got back down to the goals again on my own end, and the other guy at the time said to me, "Where did you go?" I said, "I was up with the Limerick lads," or whatever, but never again was I able to let it down. Oh! I think it was the biggest eye-opener in my Tipperary career. I mean, to be in a dressing room like that where it all turns, and I got to realise then it's a competitive world I'm living in, and that if you don't come up to the standards of what your peers want, they'll be long about telling you. I can remember like it was only yesterday. We played UCC in Emily in a challenge game, and afterwards Toss Hamill had come in on the panel, a young fella about 6'2" and looked like he was only about 5 stone in weight. I said to Toss anyway, "How old are you, Toss?" "I'm 17, he said. I said, "What was your date of birth?" He was born in 1994, so he was just about conceived, I think, before I played my first National League game with Tipperary in '93, and then I thought to myself, right, he wasn't born when I started playing hurling with Tip. Maybe I'm turning into a dinosaur. Obviously 10 is the one that would stick out, but 2009, I think even though we lost it, again we learned a huge lesson that day, in that if you lose concentration in that arena, you'll be punished very severely.
Get serious now. Next one serious. Okay.
Using a heavy hurling ball for training is what I do. I dip it in water overnight. Since I was a child, my dad did that, and that's probably given me the strength. I don't think press-ups are weights, it's more timing, and your wrist strength is what gets the ball further, and that was my secret to that.
That's the good news.
Well, the benchmark for me always when I was training as a goalkeeper was Dave Fitzhenry. I mean, Damien at his very best is what I wanted to be, and better. No, and never for the one to try in either. Now, thankfully, I've never had that. I've watched other guys actually be naked in public, and reckoned that it wasn't for me. It'd be a big loss. Just we hope that Colin makes it and that he comes back injury free if he doesn't, because Colin has a history with hips and all of having problems. But if he does make it, it'll always be a huge loss to Tipperary football. I mean, Tipperary football at the moment is so far on the map that the dual player issue has become very alive in Tipperary, and beyond the age of 18, I'm not too sure whether it can be a runner or not. I think he's got a huge job in his hands. He's trying to assemble his backroom team at the moment. There's obviously the continuity piece that Tipperary would have wanted, but now Mick finds himself, and he's 7th year involved with Tipperary hurling. We've won All Ireland, so he's going to have to bring his own style to it.